Dear Babli, 17 years ago on this day, the best thing that could possibly happen in my life happened. You were born. From a 45 centimeter baby in Ma's arms to a 165 centimeter teen in boarding school away from family. You've grown so much. And I don't just mean the 120 centimeters you've added to your height. No, it's the 17 years full of wonderful memories that I have had the good fortune to be part of. Do you remember the first time you got on a slide? I know, you don't, but I won't ever stop reminding you what happened. You went all the way to the top and peered down at me from the platform and then landed on your back on the sand. I was horrified. When I realized you were okay, the next thing I thought of was, how did you turn in the air and fall on your back? Maybe that fall had something to do with how silly you are today. It probably did something to your brain. Just kidding. Oh, how about that time when you got your head stuck in a chair? I was so confused because I thought if your head had gotten in so easily, surely it could come out easily too. I was wrong. It took mathematical precision on Chotopishi's part to get you out of that mess. And then there was that time when you were briefly left unattended in Dadu Bhai's house. And so you went ahead and dipped your hands into a basket full of red chilies. You mashed them and played with them and rubbed your face and eyes with them. The suspicious silence that had engulfed the house while you played with them was quickly broken by your screaming and crying. Your eyes were red, your face was red, your little hands were red. You cried way past midnight. The neighbors and Dadu Bhai had to go look for special leaves at night just so we could get you to sleep. But, but, you didn't always mess up when attempting your ridiculous activities. You sometimes got the better of us. There was the time you told me you were going home. We lived on the first floor and you knew where the house was. I thought it can't be wrong to let you go home from the lobby on your own. But when I got to our house an hour later, Ma asked where you were. You hadn't returned. I panicked and thought I'd lost my sister and it was all my fault. And then, 5 minutes later, we heard your laugh from the neighbor's house. You lovingly informed me later you'd gone there to play with her parrots, but just without telling anyone. And then there were all the umpteen times you stole food off the dining table. Ma, Baba, and I would be in the bedroom talking or getting my homework done. You would sneak off, and then at dinner time, we would catch you red handed, sitting on the table and grinning as you ate the lau from the bowl. But do you know what memories I cherish the most? It's none of these, even though they're all hilarious and make me laugh. No, I'll tell you what I love the most. I love that time when Ma locked me out of the house. I mean, it was not great, but she locked me out of the house for coming home late, and you cried by the door from inside the house, begging for me to be allowed in again. You were probably 2 or 3 years old and didn't even know how to operate the lock, but you tried. I love the time when I slipped and fell on the floor and you were at the doorway and you saw it happen. I got off the floor and plonked myself on the sofa to see if there were any injuries, and there were none. But you burst into tears and toddled towards me on your podgy legs, asking if I'd hurt myself. I love the time you angrily called up people who had hurt me to give them a piece of your mind, even though you were in boarding school when it happened. Then you called me and comforted me, and your love transferred through your voice from Bangalore to Pune. I haven't always been a good sister. I remember that day before you fractured your leg. We had an awful fight, and I said lots of mean things to you. The next day, when I was walking back to my bus stop, one of your classmates stopped me and said that you'd had an accident. I couldn't deal with it. He'd made it sound so horrible, I'd really thought that I would never see my best friend again. I bawled my eyes out on the way to the hospital with Anita, and when I saw you on the wheelchair, my relief knew no bounds. I cried when I heard you screaming when they tried to get your socks off for the x ray, and I cried again when I was sitting alone at home later, waiting for you to come back with Ma and Baba. And I realized that day that you meant too much to me, and I just could not afford to lose you. I love you, and it's not just because we're related by blood. Babli, you're my best friend. You have been my best friend since the first time you wrapped your tiny hands around my finger. I love dancing to couple songs and singing duets with you, even though I'm always the guy in those situations. I love the way you know every single family member's medicine timings like it's your own. I love the way you stick to your principles and beliefs irrespective of what the people around you say. You're a gift to me, and that I've always known. But more than that, you're a gift to our family, your friends, your teachers, and really every single person whose heart you've touched. And I know you think 17 is a weird number, and so you turning 17 is not a birthday worth celebrating, but I beg to differ. Every single day that you're out spreading sunshine and smiles and happiness is a day worth celebrating. And today marks another year that you've spent doing exactly that. That's reason enough to celebrate. No words or photos or videos can be enough to tell you how much I love you. I'm just waiting for summer break when we can curl up together under the same blanket and whisper stories to each other as we fall asleep. And then we have a whole year of college together to look forward to. Happy birthday, baby. 7 or 17? I know that you're still going to turn to me for answers before you actually Google them. And that's why you're always going to be my baby. I love you.